Welcome to Imola in northern Italy for the continuation of the 2020 Formula Renault Eurocup season. We've arrived at round 8 of the championship. It has helped so many careers of drivers you know the names of. This is the second visit of the season, this time in support of the Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix taking place later today. In the commentary box, I'm Alex Jakes, joining us once again for what is going to be a half-an-hour race plus one lap. It's Matt Gallagher.
Hello Alex, hello everybody. Welcome back. The second race of the weekend and looking forward to this one. Last time out yesterday, in fact, it was a pretty interesting race, wasn't it? It was more of a 15-minute sprint race rather than a half-an-hour one because we had a couple of safety cars, both down at turn 2 because of incidents there. So looking forward to seeing how the drivers, or what the drivers have learned from yesterday in terms of the tyre warm-up. This isn't the first time they've been here either, so it shouldn't be huge amounts of learnings to be made, but at the same time it's a beautiful day for racing, as you like to say, Alex. Sun is in the sky, here's the grid.
Victor Martin, bad day yesterday, good qualifying session. The championship leader has his nearest rival, Kyle Collet, and the winner yesterday alongside him. Then it's Colapinto third, ahead of Hadran David, who put in a great lap to go fourth on the grid. Vidales didn't get further than the first chicane. He lines up in fifth alongside of De Wilder. Then it's Quinn, who started from the front row and finished second yesterday. He's in seventh. Deguris was eighth. And then it's Patek ahead of Colombo, who's on pole for race one, only 10th for race number 2. Then it's Salsi in 11th. Ahead of Aron, another driver eliminated at the first chicane. Then Van der Helm next to Alatalo. Belov lines up next to Cordial, and then it's Abby pulling next to Lasso Tot, and then Maringelli unable to set a lap time in the qualifying session, the 20-minute qualifying session held earlier on. It is arrive for qualifying, drive that, have a breather, talk to your team, and go again. And you know what, Matt, you're not wrong about that beautiful day for motor racing. Track temperature is 21 degrees, air temperature is 16. You would not know it is the 1st of November, but what a wonderful place to go racing for the second one of the weekend. And a bit of a mixed up grid. Some drivers have clearly taken a step forward with everything that they learned yesterday, Victor Martin being the obvious one, the championship leader who struggled to 5th. That gap in the championship now down to 8 points. And if Kyle Collet can win both races here, and at best, Victor Martin is second, the gap in the championship will be down to 1.
Yes, a tantalising prospect, this race, Martins versus Collet. It's pretty much a 2-horse race, if I'm not mistaken, between these two, so they will most likely be going pretty hard to try and take this victory. As you say, it's a 7-point swing if they finish first and second. Quick shout out for Abby Pulling, who made her debut yesterday, a little bit off the pace, but today really pulled it back in qualifying. 17th on the grid, only 1.2 off pole, so a much improved day for Abby, and I'm hoping she has a solid race here today.
Yeah, the driver who has been competing in British Formula 4, a British karting champion as well, originally from Lincoln. And first weekend in the Eurocup. Plenty of drivers, I'm thinking maybe of Belov, who has experience of Formula 3 machinery. Say, the Formula 3 car is that little bit more refined, and I don't mean that in a derogatory way, I just mean that the driver has to work a little bit harder with these cars that generate about 210 brake horsepower. So more physical, more demands on the driver, and that is why it is such a culture shock when you step up from other championships to this Eurocup, celebrating its 50th season this year. We'll be merging with Formula Regional next to create a European championship by Alpine, to 4th tier championships merging in order to give us a basically a one-stop shop for the emerging talent of the future. If you're new to the Eurocup, the drivers at the head of the field, 18 and 19 years of age, they're all aiming to take the next step up the ladder, which is Formula 3.
So David's the top rookie in 4th position, starting on the grid. Quinn was the star of the rookies last time out, finishing second. Pretty much stayed out of any sort of errors because we saw lots of snatching of brakes down towards turn 17, as well as a few drivers getting caught up down towards turn 2. The first few laps were chaos last time, Alex. Let's see if it unfolds the same way this time.
Yeah, looking for the clean exit. As you see, Maringelli, the Italian rookie driver who had an issue, wasn't able to leave the pits in qualifying, and so just has a free hit at trying to improve up the order. This is going to give us a good read as well as what we could expect for the Formula One Grand Prix. It's a very long run from the grid all the way down to what is turn 2, the first braking point on the circuit. We have the cars in place. There are 19 of them on the grid, and now we wait for the 5 red lights. When they go out, we'll be racing for the second time in the Eurocup. Lights out in Imola, and a great start for the pole sitter. But what's the second phase of the getaway like? Colapinto looked like he got off the line really nicely and forcing Collet to go defensive. Now, second phase of the start, foot to the floor. The 2 championship rivals side by side. Collet trying to go around the outside, but Victor Martin has the inside line. Does he make it through? Yes, he does. They all going to get through the first chicane. They are this time, in contrast to yesterday. Martin heading right now in the lead, hanging on to the inside line, but he's on the defensive. This would be a brave one from Caio Collet. Our race winner yesterday knows better, knows that he has to wait. He does wait, and it's as you were for the top 3 as they head to Tosa for the first time with Victor Martin. Right now, looking in the mirrors, Caio Collet with the early warm-up of that Hankook tyre. He is all over the back of his rival, but Victor Martin crucially stays ahead as they climb the hill, side by side. The Brazilian driver putting pressure on the Frenchman. Is he going to try and sweep around the outside? No, he knows that's too much a risk as they go into the Piratella.
You made a good point there, Alex, about the warm-up of the Hankook tyres, and it looks like Collet has got much better handling of them at the moment. Martin's struggling in this first phase of the race, 28 minutes and 52 seconds remaining, plus 1 lap. But Collet, from the victory yesterday, looking strong today as well.
Victor Martin will breathe for the first time on this lap. Oh, big crash in the background there for Vidales. Oh, and he's taken out a car at the Variante Alta, and Caio Collet has been collected there. That is absolutely dramatic stuff there.
Huge for the championship, safety car out, and Martins gets away with, well, that's it, first place. His nearest championship rival, Collet, out of the race. Oh, that's so unlucky for Collet.
He would not have known what hit him, and it was contact into the braking zone. It was the first chicane yesterday, but what can the Brazilian driver do about that? Minding his own business at the Variante Alta, and hit then. Well, that is incredibly disappointing for the Brazilian driver. David Vidales comes back into the pits. He was trying to make the move. You're looking for the white and black car, trying to go past Colapinto, just caught out, and then rips the front wing off against the MP Motorsport car of Colapinto and takes out the luckless Collet, who had done such a heavy job, and we are lucky that that was not a more serious accident.
Yeah, Vidales, one of the rookies in the field, and it was a bit of a rookie error, to be honest. Just went for a move really late, was moving under braking, went underneath the car, lost the braking performance, and Vidales, well, I think he'll be looking back at that one and not probably wanting to look back at it too many times. But Collet, I imagine, will have a few choice words to say about that. One of the championship contenders out of the race. Such a shame as well. Collet looking like the stronger of the 2 between himself and Martins, but now unfortunately out of the race.
We were really looking forward to the top 2 in the championship, with that gap down to 8 points being head-to-head, and we got the opening lap that suggested it was going to be a really interesting contest, but in the end, it's been taken away from us. David Vidal got a great start off the line to get past Hadrin David, who is now up to 3rd position. And you can see in the second phase of the getaway, just like we saw yesterday, Collet at this stage thinking, is it worth risking? No, cuts in. Fine margin there as they took the corner. They all found their way through there, but David Vidales with that lock-up at the Variante Alta, and well, disappointment. Very, very close to first position. Crucially, they didn't know it at the time, but that is the battle that basically organised who was going to be in the path of the car that had no front wing, David Vidales.
Yeah, watching that replay, very measured approach from Collet. Didn't decide to go around the outside at turn 2, didn't decide to go around the outside again at turn 5, and really was just trying to, it was hard but fair racing between the 2, side by side again. It was great to watch. And here is the replay, which Collet will not want to watch back too many times. It's going to be investigated after the race. And I mean, it's a pretty slam dunk, some sort of penalty in my opinion, because it's had huge repercussions for the championship.
So the safety car is coming in at the end of the lap. And what an opportunity now for Colapinto, for David as well, because they know that Martin will want to take points in the championship as he leads the field away, but he will know that he's got a good opportunity to stretch that lead back out after his closest rival was taken out of contention. So if Colapinto can get close, maybe he can frighten Martin to taking the super conservative route. And it looked like there was a good run there for Aaron, who was close, and he's once again gone through the gravel for the second time this weekend. He had moved up to 8th position. He now tumbles down to 10th position and tries to fight back. He's having an all-action weekend, but not for the reasons that he'd want.
These drivers are aggressive. They want to be making moves at the start of this safety car restart. Yesterday we saw Colette get great launches for 2 times off the final corner, and we saw it again there with Martin. It seems as though just being able to have that decision and being able to bolt exactly when you want to works well around this Imola circuit, because Martin's has gapped Colapinto at the moment over a second now, so a brilliant restart from Martin's, considering he struggled so much at the start with the tyres.
So Martin has got that restart exactly where he wants it, and he remains in the lead of this one. Colapinto in second, then David, and De Wilder, Quinn, Patek, Salsi, then Deguris, Aaron, and Colombo, the top 10. And Colombo with that move on Aaron after Aaron went wide, so he's up to 9th. Aaron in 10th, and right now we have Victor Martin as the driver to catch, and he seemed to have a lot of pace yesterday that he wasn't really able to use. Spent a long time in 5th position, unable to pull off any move. He was very, very quick out of the Tamburello chicane, couldn't do anything with it. And Colapinto, who was the driver causing him that headache yesterday, is the driver behind. Trying to make moves through the field right now is Lorenzo Colombo, on the podium yesterday. And after a disappointing qualifying for our pole sitter for race 1, he's trying to go all the way around the outside, and he will do so, turning 9th into 8th, but not in a way that he was able to hang on to. And now he's going to give that place back to Aaron, who's going past, and he will get ahead. So back down to 10th position for Colombo, who risked it, and it didn't pay off.
Yeah, unfortunately lost momentum there. But down to 10th, it's so difficult to overtake around here. That's why these drivers are going for the rather audacious moves here, and you just see, just gets completely out of shape through turns 2 and 3, and then there's number 52 of Marion Jelly going across the gravel. And we've seen a few of that this time, haven't we, Alex? It's just snatching brakes, not being able to slow down as quickly as they'd want to.
No, absolutely, and there is no tarmac runoff there. There is no get out of jail free.
And that's the beauty of Imola, isn't it, Alex? That's the beauty, that any kind of mistake and you are punished.
Absolutely, and we're seeing plenty of trips through there. Expect that later on for the Formula 1 Grand Prix as well. But there is now 0.8 of a second between Martin and Colapinto. So he has had a very strong lap, looks fully in control of this. Yesterday looked like it might be a pivotal day in the championship. This one definitely will be from what we've seen so far. And trying to hang on. Peter Patak right now, hanging on to 6th position. The ART and the Swiss driver behind him. Salsi is right now in the slipstream, getting closer. They take that tight route to the wall because of the bumps down the inside of the track, and now he's gaining all the time. How easy is it to overtake? Well, it's pretty difficult from what we've seen. You see, there's the momentum, there's the slipstream, but he wasn't even shaping for a move into the Tamburello chicane. That gives you an idea of how much momentum you need at the second part of Ravazza.
What we learned yesterday was that you have to be even closer than 0.3 of a second coming out of the penultimate corner in order to get any kind of opportunity down towards turn 2. Of course, there's no DRS with these cars. There's no assistance in that way. They have to rely purely on the momentum out of that corner and the slipstream down towards turn 2. And yeah, we saw with Martins yesterday, even though he had the pace, he just couldn't make the moves and was just pretty much lodged in 5th place, made a mistake as well, got away with it just about because the chasing pack behind was a little bit further back. But we haven't seen those mistakes this time, Alex. It's as though the drivers have learned from their braking issues that they've had. Obviously, we've seen a few run across the gravel, but in terms of snatching the brakes into turn 17, we haven't seen that yet, and the running wide as well.
So things are, yeah, the snatching of the brakes, this is definitely the track at its most rubbered in, but we saw a lot of mistakes late on, and as you pointed out at the start of the broadcast, Matt, only really a 15-minute race yesterday with the safety car periods that we had. So as we get late on, drivers feeling more adventurous, the fuel burning off? Are we going to see drivers pushing and finding the gravel in the same way that we did yesterday? Meanwhile, fastest lap after fastest lap for our race leader, our championship leader, and the driver putting one hand on the trophy, because after this one, he is going to have to go to Hockenheim 2 times and then Le Castellet to close things out. Once again, having a look at a potential move into turn number 1, but once again, we're seeing that Paul Aron does not have the momentum, and that is going to bring Colombo back into play. It's a bold move if you're going to pull it off at this part of the racetrack. You've got to be to the inside line. It is so difficult to sweep around the outside into the Villeneuve chicane. And one thing I thought we'd see more of this weekend is drivers throwing it to the inside of Tosa, but they have not really required that move so far. And if anything, it's better drive out of that famous old hairpin as we go to Piratella, and still momentum, but no change of position for Colombo, the frustrated driver, because he's been as high as 8th, he just couldn't make that position stick. And in the end, there's a bit of a train forming right now, isn't there, between the drivers sprinting clear and those looking in the mirror. So looking further back, it's very, very tight, with Aron trying to stay ahead, and a good battle going on here with Patak right now ahead, Al-Salsi and Deguris 6th, 7th and 8th.
Colombo's a perfect example of what we've been speaking about as well, and Martin's problems yesterday, because Colombo was one of the front runners yesterday in qualifying and in the race. Had a bit of a disappointing qualifying this morning, and is now just wedged in 10th place, can't get past Aron, who is one of the rookies in the field. Martin sets another fastest lap, pretty much exactly what Colette did yesterday. Just fastest lap after fastest lap, settle in over a second gap now. We'll be feeling confident about that, because as we've seen how difficult it is to overtake around Imola in these cars, especially because these drivers are obviously in equal machinery. The only difference is the setups and how they're treating the car, what the tyre conditions like, which will be interesting as we go to the second phase of this race as to how these tyres stay in, because 15-minute sprint race yesterday, we have had one safety car already today, but it is going to be a further distance of these drivers really pushing these tyres, and the last few minutes may be interesting.
Colapinto right now does not have an answer to Victor Martin out front, and he is extending his lead to 1.3 seconds. What a shot that is, climbing down the hill to Acqua Minerale. No one needs an invitation to come racing at Imola with all of its history, with the fantastic track layout. Do hear from the drivers, it's difficult to get past. The main incident of the race so far, if you have just pressed play on the stream wherever you are watching in the world, you're very welcome indeed. It's great to have your company on this Sunday morning from northern Italy. We saw a lock-up from David Vidales into the Variante Alta. Not a traditional overtaking opportunity. You've really got to harangue the driver, you've got to press it to the inside. It's always a risk overtaking there. And Vidales has just improved up to 16th position, but Vidales ripping the front of the car off by making contact with the MP Motorsport car, but crucially in the championship picture, colliding with Caio Collet, our only retirement so far. He was running in 2nd place, no fault of his, just wrong place, wrong time, and it's opened the door for a Victor Martin championship right now, because he's going to be extending his lead. He looks a good bet for those 25 points, but the gravel traps are close. We've seen plenty of drivers through. It's difficult, but it's good to get an answer to the question of the pace that he would have had yesterday if he could have cleared the MP Motorsport car ahead of Colapinto. We're getting the answer of how quick he is around here. The driver that has won 6 times, he's looking a good bet for win number 7 in this year's championship.
It's such a shame that Colette's out of this race, because I think it would have been an absolute ding-dong battle between Martins and Colette. We saw it in the first lap of the race. But this is what happens. This is motor racing. Unfortunately, Colette getting tangled up in something that he had absolutely no doing or no fault over. And Vidales, I'd imagine, would be receiving some sort of slap on the wrists after the race when it's investigated. Still got good pace, considering he ripped the front of that car off pretty much on the rear end of Colette. But right now, Martin's the only driver in the 1 minute 40s, stretching his lead every single lap. And right now, himself and Colapinto just slightly slower. The rest of the field really can't keep up.
We saw in qualifying, once Martin was able to get the tyres and brakes into the temperature window that he needed, really he was able to run at a consistent pace that was further away from anyone else. So this won't be surprising the field at all right now. Checking in on the number 20 entry of Alex Quinn, racing for Arden. He's got a teammate directly up the road, that unmistakable Arden livery at the front of the car. So he's trying to chase down De Wilder, the driver who was second yesterday. 2 podiums in a row. Another position, David Vidales, who is trying to make his way back through the field. I don't really think he was trying the overtake into the outer chicane. All he was trying to do was avoid a car. I think he was slightly caught out by how early Colapinto was braking.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it was more just maybe a dummy to the inside gone wrong, because he snatched both of his front brakes immediately, and then once that happens, being that close behind is just a recipe for disaster, unfortunately. There's Abby Pulling, mentioned her at the start of the broadcast, much improved from yesterday. I think she finished over at maybe around a minute behind the leader. 23.9 off Martin's, made a debut yesterday. So I'm sure she'll be very happy. She's in the 42s. I think yesterday she was 44, 45s. So much improved. Well done, Abby. And I'm sure she'll hope to continue to improve and get closer to the pace as the rounds progress.
Difficult when you sit in the car for the first time in the only practice session at the weekend. Some of these drivers in their second season. Franco Colapinto is going to go up to 3rd in the point standings with this result. So he's the big winner from the weekend in championship position. David Vidales will wonder really where it all went wrong. Retirement yesterday, and right down now outside the points paying positions. Top 10 get points. Formula 1 point system, 25, 18, 15 for the top 3. You know the rest from there. So it's been a good few laps for Alex Quinn, who is closing in on De Wilder. And here is that battle. No, further back, we're looking now at Aron trying to get past, and he's close, and he didn't know whether to go for it or not. In the end, he backed out of it. But Aron unable to get past Tagurus at the moment. This is the battle for 8th position with Colombo. He had that place. He was like, I was in 8th a couple of laps ago. It was all looking good. He could have made progress of the clean air in front, and now he's just hoping that the ART can get past the Arden in front of him.
Must be so frustrating for Colombo, just wedged in there in 10th position, can't make any sort of moves. And here's a replay of the look down towards the inside from Aron. Fortunately, no contact this time. Tagurus just pretty much turned in, hoped that Aron wouldn't stay there. And this battle, I'm sure, will continue for the next 12 minutes or so.
So 12 minutes plus a lap at the end, the 3 miles, 4.9 kilometers of this Imola circuit as they come down to the first Ravazza. There's an opportunity, thinking about it. The Estonian driver did fancy it at that point. Yellow flag in sector 3, he's going to get him at the second Ravazza. That's a move that's been coming for a while now. Further into the race we go. Progress from one car getting past the Arden up to 8th place goes Aron. It could get worse now for Tagurus, who's in 9th position, but you can see there's a great run for Colombo. And this is the problem with overtaking into 18. Are we going to go 3 wide? I'm not sure that's the best idea. Tagurus tries to fight back. They both lock up. Will they make the corner? Colombo trying to take advantage. Can he get through? Not at this point. And it's all bringing in. It's getting so very tight there. Colombo trying to get past. Can he go to the inside this time? There's no real braking zone to take advantage of, and it's now a 4-car battle. Remember when Aron was under pressure? He's gone. He's scarpered down the road. They are still side by side as they go through Tosa Corner. And is he going to get hung out to dry? Yes, he is, and that grass is wet out there. It's going to hurt his momentum all the way up the hill. And Alatalo is able to get through into the points-paying positions. Colombo heading backwards now. Another move, this time for Beloff getting through up to 11th.
It goes from bad to worse for Colombo, who's just desperately trying to hold on, but is falling back rather than moving forward, down to 12th now. And it's great clean racing from the drivers as we see a replay here. You're expecting some sort of contact after what we've seen already this weekend, but brilliant racing, and this was a little bit of a... It wasn't actually a push or a real kind of forcing him onto the grass or anything, just Colombo just slid, trying to get on the power early, and as you say, the grass not providing a huge amount of grip and falling down to 12th place.
Good battle that. Meanwhile, just checking in at what Alex Quinn can do. Try to improve to 4th position, 2nd yesterday on the front row for qualifying 1, couldn't repeat that. And further back, we're looking at Gregoire Salcy. Salcy trying to improve right now to 6th position. So battles going on right now for 4th and 6th as we tick down into the final 10 minutes of the contest. But you know that you've got to be within 0.2 of a second. Anything over 0.2 of a second, that's going to be a risk.
And even then, I mean, we've seen they're pretty much
simple around here, is it?
Side by side, and we've seen drivers go off onto the gravel and still somehow get enough momentum to be able to defend around here. Imola, quite a difficult place to overtake. They're still providing some brilliant action.
And still, there you go, side by side. And Salcy has a lot of pace right now, but the Swiss driver cannot get past Petr Patak. And the Swiss driver versus the Czech driver as they climb the hill once again. The problem is, you can have all the momentum in the world, but there isn't really an obvious overtaking point until you get to the end of the lap, and if you do that, you leave yourself vulnerable heading down to Tamburello. So all the moves have to be decisive here if you're going to make them. It does appear that the white and black ART car there has the pace on the MP Motorsport entry ahead. All the while, Alex Quinn putting pressure on De Wilder for 4th position, but this is the closer battle at the moment. Let's see what the exit is like. Now, it's all about the slipstream. Can you position your car to the inside? If you put it on the outside, it's a risk. It's all about how the team and driver set up the straight line speed of the car to protect. So you take a little bit of wing away. Right now, despite the fact that you would expect that to be an overtaking opportunity, it's as you were. Meanwhile, Quinn with a sighter to the inside. It's dirty, it's dusty, it's not on. The move into the Villeneuve chicane. And he hangs on to it for the time being. But lots of drivers now not even looking forward out of the cockpit. They are driving on their mirrors. 4th and 6th being contested. Meanwhile, nearly a 2-second lead out front for championship leader and driver with one hand on today's trophy as they go very, very close. The climb ends. They plunge back downhill. Not much to separate them. Oh, off the road. And turn number 1. And that was Cordial in the FA Racing entry, and he has rejoined, but another one through the gravel.
Quinn looking to pounce for P4. Quinn's been quite impressive this weekend, not exactly for pace, just purely by being there and staying out of trouble. And he's trying to line up De Wilder, who must have made a mistake into the turns 2, 3, 4 complex, which we've seen a few times where the drivers can get it wrong and they just lose momentum going down towards turn number 5. Colapinto still keeping Martins honest, but those two are just in a league of their own, both in the 1:40.9 last time out. And David 6.5 seconds back in 3rd. Pretty decent result though for a rookie. I'm sure he'll be happy with that.
Absolutely. Victor Martin, not a rookie. Another season in the championship. Same applies to Caio Collet. Colapinto set to go ahead of the lead rookie in the championship standings. The driver who went a long way inadvertently to deciding the contest today, David Vidales. And still, Quinn is tucked under the rear wing of his teammate. And we'll be hoping to change that. Quinn, who is a rookie driver in the championship, 4 podiums so far this year, 5th in the point standings. Drivers will know the time is ticking away. 5 minutes to go, and plus a lap at the end of this one. So finally poised in the battle for 4th and 6th positions. Given what we've seen when the drivers can run side by side. Ah, there we are. The drivers have been warned about doing that, about straight lining. the turn 13 apex at the end of the Aqua Minerale section. And you saw Quinn all over the road there, applying the power.
Got great exit though.
He's got an opportunity. That's not quite where he wants the car though. You don't want to go to the outside, you want to force your rival into a lock-up. He's not got it, but surely this time is the opportunity for him when he can put his foot to the floor. This is going to be South Sea just saying, oh, I've had enough. Foot to the floor. Straight lining. Now back to the battle between the two Ardents. This is for 4th position right now. De Wilder up against Quinn, and this is the closest Quinn has been all race long to 4th place, but he's going to have to tough it out around the outside. Is he prepared to do that? That's mighty from Alex Quinn, who finally gets by, and he had to wait a long time to make that move. Can he hang on to it? Super stuff from Alex Quinn.
Quinn should be able to defend this move, even though De Wilder got a better exit out the last couple of corners. Great move from Quinn, but here we go. Look at Patek and South Sea joining this fight as well. This is about to get very interesting in the last 4 minutes or so.
And now De Wilder will try and hang on. So he had the momentum going down the hill to Ravazza. That is where the move was really begun, and then just the faith that maybe you couldn't do that to another driver, but he knows it's his teammate, and you're very much living in each other's pockets in a championship like this, so you know that your teammate's going to be aware who they are racing. And good move from Alex Quinn, who's going to try and get clear. Now, what sort of pace does De Wilder have to try and keep the fast train that is appearing, to be honest, behind him? And they're all coming into close proximity at the end here. Still, South Sea can't get past Patek. And Patek is going to now put the pressure on De Wilder in the battle for 5th place.
Nothing's really changed out in front. Martin's, apart from him setting fastest lap after fastest lap, 1 minute 40.6 last time round. Again, himself and Colapinto, the only drivers in the 1 minute 40s. It's a really impressive drive from both of those. And as you can see, Quinn is stretching his legs now. Clearly has quite a bit more pace than De Wilder, who seems to be struggling on his tyres in this last 3 minutes or so in the race. And he's going to have a serious job on his hands to keep Patek, South Sea and Aron behind in these last few moments.
Yeah, two drivers, both attempting defensive results here, effectively. Not had the pace, but strong racecraft from both of them. And Patek basically looking in his mirrors. That's going to help De Wilder, who is checking where everyone is. Quinn checked out 4th place in his possession, and so it looks like it's going to be Martin ahead of Colapinto and David. So that will be a first ever podium for Hadrian David. It'll mean a lot to him. 2 Frenchmen on the podium along with Colapinto. So 2 minutes to go, plus the lap. And now it's about keeping it neat and tidy. There's not been any cliff edge for De Wilder. He's just hung on to it. After, could easily, he knew that if Quinn was going to get the run, he couldn't afford to lose much momentum fighting it corner by corner, because that would have brought all of these drivers further up to the rear wing of his Arden. And he's got enough of a buffer at the moment. The main driver under pressure is Patek, and South Sea is now coming under pressure from Aron, the Estonian. Oh, in! Oh, that's very, very close indeed. And off the road goes De Gurus, and he has made the error that we speculated could happen, to go further down the order. And that is what can happen at the latter stages. For so long, you've been close to the gravel. One error, and he's through the gravel.
What a shame. Pressure clearly taken its toll. As we see South Sea and Aron fighting. Looks like we're probably going to get this lap and then one more. Martin's crossed the line with 1 minute 45 to go, and he's doing 1 minute 40s. Here's a replay, just getting it all wrong. We haven't really seen too many mistakes in these last couple of corners in this race. We saw lots last time out.
That mistake promotes Belov to 10th position. And now we've got David Vidales. He's had another incident, had one on the opening lap. He's had one towards the latter stages. And the driver who started today in 3rd position in the championship has had an entire round to forget at Imola.
Here's the replay then, himself and Van der Helm. And oh no, I think it's just gone on him. Maybe from the prior contact, his suspension just given up.
So David Vidales retiring from the race, no points. You can see the suspension affected to send him off the road. So let's see what time we're at when Martins goes across the line. And it is lap 17, so 2 to go then, with the clock running out right about now. Penultimate lap of the race then for the driver who, as soon as Colette was removed from contention, accidentally by David Vidales, it has always seemed likely that Martin was going to win this one. Colapinto has done well to get that gap at 1.8, but look at the margin to everyone else further back. Not so simple, not so stress-free.
Colapinto trying his absolute hardest to try and mount on the pressure in these last few moments of the race. 1.7, 1.8, it's been like that pretty much the entire race around the 2-second mark. But as you say, completely in a league of their own. And, well, we saw Colette yesterday do pretty much the same thing, stretch the gap even further to second place. Such a shame that Colette's out of the race and watching from the sidelines. We've still got a huge battle for 5th place, as we still have a yellow flag in Sector 1, which might affect any moves if any of the drivers get any sort of slipstream down towards there.
Absolutely. Oh, very wide indeed. You don't want that. Another Piratella. You are completely at the mercy of the grip of your car through that corner. And David Vidales will be pleased that that failure didn't come his way going through that section of the track. Went straight on instead at Tamburello through the gravel. Okay, the clock's run out. We have one more lap to go at the end of this one. 1.8 second gap out front for Victor Martin. Huge day. The championship momentum had swung his rival's way. It swings back to him, and he has not missed his opportunity. Never looked like Colapinto was ever going to get close today. And he's just managing the gap, Martin, all the way to the flag. Fastest lap as well. But further back, it looks like a good run for Salsi. Trying to take that 6th place. He's been trying for so long now. Absolutely sick at the side of that rear wing, but nothing he can do. How about the momentum? It's not a very long straight here to take us to the Villeneuve chicane, but that wide moment for Patek ahead will certainly give him encouragement, but he's got the power down, and it's going to have to be a mistake from here or a mega move into Tosa. Can he try it? He's trying to shape for it. He's trying to frighten his rival off the road. He's not going to be able to do so.
Oh, it's just so difficult. It's so frustrating for Salsi to try and get past Patek. Clearly much more pace and trying to just take different lines to get momentum into different corners, but just can't get enough of a run to lunge one up the inside. And it looks like Patek may just be able to hold on to this one.
Been driving defensively for a very long time indeed, and Quinn showing that he had plenty of pace in reserve. When he was able to clear his teammate, he was able to disappear down the road, and that yellow flag remains in Sector 1, but it didn't really affect any moves. So the battles look like they're going to remain the same, but now coming out of the final corner for the final time. What a performance from Victor Martin, who comes across the line to win his 7th race of the year and put one hand on the championship trophy with his nearest rival out of the race. That is a pivotal day. Across the line in 2nd place was Colapinto with the fastest lap of the race on the last tour, and then it was David on the podium for the first time. Quinn, De Wilder, Patek, Salsi, Aaron, Alatalo and Beloff are the points finishers. But after a very difficult Saturday, it's been a super Sunday for Victor Martin.
Hugely measured drive from Martin. Stayed in the lead, defended from Colette in lap 1. As you mentioned earlier, Alex, it seemed as though whoever was leading was the one to escape DNFing from this race. Colapinto might be kicking himself a little bit there, closing in on Martin's hugely on the end of that race. Maybe he had left a little bit more in the tyres than he expected with the fastest lap on the last lap. But either way, Martin's going to be extremely happy with that. You know, these racers, they want to race hard, and I'm sure he's not going to be particularly happy from one side of things in terms of wanting to race Colette today, but when he takes a look at the championship table, I'm sure he won't be too sad.
lost 15 points yesterday in relation to his rival, gained 25 today. That was a good response in qualifying. It was a converted pole position for the race winner, Victor Martin, ahead of Colapinto, and a maiden podium for David. Quinn with a good move, best move of the race, you'd have to say, on his teammate, Hugo de Wilder, and then Patrick did well to hang on. Didn't have the pace, but had the racecraft to keep Saucy behind, and then Aron ahead of Alatalo, and Beloff, the final point scorer. Colombo was 11th ahead of Deguris, who made that mistake to lose his position in the points late on. Cordial was ahead of Van der Helm, and then it was Todd ahead of Abbey, pulling the retirements, Vidales, Maringeli, and Caio Collet, who was taken out by Vidales at the very start of the race. Very, very strong stuff from the driver who has been the target for all others in the Eurocup this year, and that 7th victory. Just 4 races to go has meant that he can manage things all the way to the end of the championship now. He's got a buffer in the points, and if he was nervous at the start of the day, he has got rid of that, and it's a great warm-up for the Grand Prix, the first Grand Prix here since 2006, and Victor Martin, born in 2001, so when Kimi Räikkönen made his debut around this racetrack, Matt, he wasn't even born.
I feel incredibly old. Even I do. I'm 28. But yeah, Martin's, you know, some drivers struggle under pressure, some thrive. And I think yesterday would have been a bit of a wake-up call for Martins after Collet dominated the race, taking a huge amount of points out of him. But what a drive. What a qualifying from Martins this morning as well. And that really set him up for a brilliant race, and pretty much measured it the entire way through. Colapinto extremely fast as well. Those two easily the quickest this time out, and there you can see how much it means to Martins. And there's his team, ART as well. I'm sure very happy and slightly relieved, because Collet did look like the faster of the 2 drivers at the start of that race.
He had a great lap 1, was doing everything correctly. We did not get the battle that we wanted between the top 2 in the championship, but we did see a Sunday morning masterclass from Victor Martin, and you can see what it means to the Frenchman, because he will very much hope to climb the ladder. The previous Eurocup champion, Oscar Piastri, made progress through to Formula 3, and you will, I'm sure, know that he won it this year. That will be the aim for the Frenchman, to progress, and he has been hurried along. We got to get going. We got a Grand Prix to run, and that means he's being ushered straight upstairs. First of all, he's going to get weighed. Then that will be added to the weight of the car. You saw drivers deliberately running on the grass to try and add a little bit of weight to the car. All the tactics they are taught from a very early age. It's been an interesting couple of races for the Eurocup. We've seen some super drives. Who have you been impressed with over the course of the 2 races, Matt?
Well, I think Collet and Martins, to be honest, because both of them looked like they were incredibly quick. Well, firstly, yesterday, Collet. Today, Martins. Colapinto's been incredibly impressive as well. Look, just falling short of really taking it to Martins at the end there. And also Quinn. Quinn was very much just in the mix in both of the races, not trying to get involved in it too many instances. Had a great move on his teammates around the outside towards turn 5. So in terms of probably rookie of the weekend, I'd go with Quinn.
Great stuff. So they know they've got to get cracking. Up to the podium, swig of water, and these cars very physical to drive. Especially a lot of these drivers will be racing in a car championship for the first time. You come out of go-karts and you always hear that it is such a difficult thing to suddenly wrap your head around driving a single-seater. But for a lot of these drivers, the first step on the ladder up to greater things in the world of motorsport. There are your top 3. The ART in the middle, the winning car. And it never really looked in doubt. Wondered if we were going to see a late charge from Colapinto, but it didn't turn out that way. So let's welcome to the podium. They've taken the direct route. So for the first time on the podium, Hadrian David, great stuff from him. Colapinto back on the podium in the Eurocup, but it's a 7th win of the season for Victor Martin. A huge day in the championship for the Frenchman, who is about to hear his national anthem.
Well done to Imola. Levez les trophées, s'il vous plaît. Congratulations, gentlemen. Well done. And now, the champagne.
Well, great entertainment across 2 rounds. It has been superb stuff and a privilege. Thanks for having us, Eurocup. We've really enjoyed it. Great contests. Thanks to Matt for his insight, and thanks to all the drivers in the field for giving us a great race yesterday and today. It looked like Kyle Collet played himself back into contention, but that win means that Victor Martin is the driver to beat. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you soon.